Behind the warm smiles, the perfectly crisp bedsheets, and the charming towel animal waiting on your bed, there exists a secret, unspoken world. It's the world of your cabin steward. And in it, there's a list of things they wish every single passenger knew. This isn't about the obvious stuff. It's a hidden rulebook of passenger habits that quietly drive them to the absolute brink of insanity. And here's the most shocking part. The worst offenders are often the most well-meaning travelers, the ones who are genuinely trying to be polite and helpful, but are accidentally causing chaos. They have seen everything you can possibly imagine, from catastrophic bathroom blunders that defy logic, to creative crimes against white linens that would make a five-star hotel manager break down in tears. Today, we're not just peeking behind the curtain, we're ripping it down. We are about to expose the behaviors, both big and small, that the crew secretly cannot stand, and you will definitely want to stay tuned for the legendary tale of a single poorly placed Piña Colada on a balcony. It was a mistake that triggered a sticky, cascading disaster, affecting not one, not two, but 3 separate decks in a chain reaction of awkward confrontations and frantic cleanups. The truth is, understanding these unwritten rules is the ultimate key to unlocking the best service you've ever had. This is more than just a list of pet peeves. This is your insider's guide to becoming their favorite passenger. Let's start our journey with the most baffling of all cruise ship phenomena, the helpful passenger paradox. These are the critical mistakes made by the kindest, most considerate people on the ship, who are blissfully unaware that their good intentions are paving a road to logistical double hockey sticks for the crew. It begins with the simple act of tidying up. You've just stepped out of the shower, and in a commendable effort to keep the room neat, you meticulously fold the damp bath towel and hang it perfectly back on the rack. You feel a small sense of pride, thinking you've saved the steward a bit of work. In reality, you've just created the world's most frustrating daily puzzle. Your steward now enters the cabin and is confronted with a beautifully folded, yet suspiciously damp towel. A wave of uncertainty washes over them. Is it clean? Is it used? Is it just a bit damp from the room's humidity? They have absolutely no way of knowing for sure. They can't just assume it's dirty, because if they take a perfectly clean towel, they risk a complaint from a guest wondering why their fresh linens were removed. But if they leave it, they risk you being handed back the exact same towel that was intimately acquainted with your armpit just a few hours before. You thought you were helping, but you've just launched a gross, fluffy boomerang that might come back to you the next morning. The universal, unspoken rule is breathtakingly simple. If a towel is used and you want it replaced, toss it on the bathroom floor or in the shower tub. That is the clear, unambiguous signal for "I'm finished with this." This well-intentioned chaos extends from the bathroom to the minibar. Many passengers, embracing an eco-friendly mindset, will decide to reuse the same drinking glass for their entire voyage. They'll give it a quick rinse in the sink each morning, feeling proud of their effort to conserve water and reduce waste. It's an admirable thought in any other context, but on a cruise ship, it's a silent, flashing red light for the sanitation crew. When a steward spots a lone, rinsed-out glass being reused for days on end, they aren't thinking about sustainability. They are picturing a microscopic city of bacteria having a party on the nightstand. It becomes a health code violation, hiding in plain sight. Stewards have found entire collections of used glasses being aged behind a curtain, creating a sticky, foul-smelling mess that can attract insects. They don't want to lecture you, they are simply trying to protect you and follow the strict rules that keep everyone on board safe. They just want to swap out that cup before you accidentally cultivate a new strain of yogurt in it. But being unintentionally unhelpful is one thing. What happens when passengers fundamentally misinterpret the most basic operational rules of their own cabin? This brings us to the small, laminated rectangle of doom, the Do Not Disturb sign. It seems so straightforward, yet it is the root cause of more guest complaints than almost any other single item on the ship. You decide to hang it on your door before heading out for a port adventure, thinking, I might want a nap later, so this is just in case. You spend a glorious 8 hours exploring, shopping, and soaking up the sun. You return to the ship exhausted, dreaming of a freshly made bed and a clean room, only to find your cabin in the exact state of disarray you left it in that morning. The bed is a mess, the trash is overflowing, and the towels are still sadly damp on the floor. The immediate instinctive reaction for many is a surge of indignation. They forgot my room, I'm going to complain. But the crew didn't forget you. You explicitly told them to stay away. That D&D sign is not a suggestion. It is an impenetrable force field. For critical privacy and security reasons, stewards are strictly forbidden from even touching the doorknob, let alone entering a room when that sign is displayed. It doesn't matter if they personally saw you disembark with a beach bag and a snorkel. The sign is law. This rule protects both you from intrusion and them from any potential accusations. Yet, every single day, the reception desk is flooded with calls from furious guests who have left the sign up all day and are now demanding to know why their room wasn't serviced. It's a self-inflicted problem that causes immense frustration for everyone involved. Even more disruptive than the sign, however, is the guest who hovers. To a passenger, a cruise ship hallway is just a path from their room to the fun. To a cabin steward, it is a meticulously organized workspace. They have an incredibly complex, tightly choreographed schedule. They are responsible for a block of 20 to 25 cabins and have a master plan to service every single one efficiently. This entire plan is instantly obliterated by the passenger who decides to become a hallway monitor. They will pace back and forth outside their door, arms crossed, sighing loudly and asking every 2 minutes, "Are you coming to my room next?" Some will even take up residence on the floor outside, staring down the steward with an intensity that would make a drill sergeant uncomfortable. They will demand their room be cleaned at a ridiculously specific, inconvenient time that fits their personal schedule, but torpedoes the steward's entire workflow. A single request like this doesn't just delay one room. It creates a massive domino effect, pushing back the service for every other cabin on their list. They are not your private housekeeper. They are logistics managers juggling the needs of 50 people. The ultimate irony is that if these hovering guests had simply gone to enjoy the buffet for another half hour, their room would have been cleaned perfectly and on schedule, without an ounce of the self-induced drama. Now, we must take a deep breath and venture into the darkest, wettest, and most sensitive corner of cruise ship operations. The plumbing. The cruise ship toilet is a technological masterpiece. But it's a diva. It is not the robust, forgiving toilet you have at home. It's a powerful, air-driven vacuum system with narrow pipes and a complex central processing unit. It is incredibly effective, but it is also as sensitive as a rock star's ego. This system was engineered with surgical precision to handle exactly two substances: human waste and the ship's specially formulated, rapidly dissolving toilet paper. That is the complete and final list, and yet, a shocking number of passengers treat it like a magical wormhole, a garbage disposal capable of making any unwanted item simply vanish forever. The undisputed public enemy number one is the flushable wipe. Let's be clear, they are not flushable on a cruise ship. They do not break down. They congeal into thick, stubborn ropes that cause catastrophic blockages. They are the sworn nemesis of every marine engineer at sea. But the list of horrors doesn't stop there. Stewards have seen it all sent down the drain. Wads of paper towels, cotton swabs, entire spools of dental floss, which wrap themselves around motors, leftover food, and even children's toys. One legendary incident involved a guest trying to flush a plastic cup. The resulting clog was so severe it didn't just disable their toilet, it created a pressure backup that shut down the plumbing for their entire section of the ship. Now imagine you are the steward. You are the one who has to deal with the disgusting, foul-smelling aftermath of this plumbing apocalypse, all while the guest in the offending cabin looks you in the eye and swears they have absolutely no idea how it could have possibly happened. The maintenance crew has to be called. Pipes sometimes have to be physically cut open. And it's all because of one moment of thoughtlessness. When a forbidden item is too large to be flushed, some guests graduate to a more deceptive tactic: the great cabin cover-up. You would be utterly astounded by the elaborate lengths some people will go to in order to hide accidental damage, all in a desperate bid to avoid a potential fee. In doing so, they often transform their luxurious stateroom into a set for a low-budget spy thriller, complete with hidden dangers. One of the most horrifying discoveries a steward can make is finding a shattered drinking glass where the guest, instead of reporting it, has swept the tiny razor-sharp shards of glass under the edge of the bed, it becomes a sparkling, transparent minefield, waiting patiently for the bare foot of the next passenger or the hand of the steward themselves. Another classic maneuver in the cover-up playbook is the art of strategic concealment. A guest spills an entire glass of red wine on a white pillowcase. Panic sets in. Instead of simply leaving it for the steward to handle, they enact a cunning plan. They wrap the stained pillowcase inside a bath towel, fold it into a suspicious-looking fabric burrito, and then cleverly stash it behind the curtains or at the bottom of the wardrobe. They operate under the delusion that if it's out of sight, it has simply ceased to exist. But here's the insider secret. Your cabin steward is a detective. They know every single inch of that room better than you know your own living room. The moment they spot a strangely lumpy towel, a cushion that's out of place, or a curtain that isn't hanging quite right, their internal alarm bells start screaming. They know a horror story is likely hidden within, and they have to brace themselves for whatever disgusting or dangerous secret they are about to uncover. The most frequent and frustrating form of this cover-up, however, happens right out in the open. It is a tragedy in 3 acts that we shall call the White Towel Massacre. The ship's towels are kept pristine, fluffy, and a brilliant, uncompromising white, for a very important reason. It's the universal symbol of perfect cleanliness. For some guests, however, that immaculate white towel is not a tool for drying off. It's a blank canvas for their personal art projects. It becomes the go-to utility cloth for their entire vacation. They use it to aggressively wipe off heavy, oil-based foundation, scrub away stubborn waterproof mascara, or blot away the streaky evidence of a self-tanner application gone wrong. Some have even been found to use these beautiful towels to clean mud off their hiking shoes or to sop up a spilled cup of dark coffee from the carpet. In a matter of seconds, that beautiful fluffy white towel is transformed into a Jackson Pollock of permanent stains, a modern art disaster of beige, bronze, black, and deep regret. And here's the heartbreaking part. Those cosmetic and chemical stains almost never, ever come out. Once a towel has been violated by foundation or hair dye, its life as a luxury item is over. It's demoted to the sad, inglorious life of a cleaning rag. And who do you think has to answer for this systematic destruction of ship property when the laundry department sends back a report? Your steward. They are the ones who have to explain why the ship's linen inventory is dwindling, all because a passenger treated their bath towel like a disposable makeup wipe. Now, let us journey to the scene of some of the most spectacular cruise ship fails. The balcony. A private balcony is a slice of heaven at sea, but it is also a stage for legendary disasters. Spills inside the cabin are a common headache, creating a sticky nightmare of soda on the carpet or orange juice on the desk chair that the steward has to meticulously clean. But when spills happen on the balcony, they can escalate into multi-room international incidents. The most infamous story, whispered among crew members across fleets, involves a guest who accidentally knocked over a full, vibrant red glass of sangria. The sticky, fruity liquid didn't just pool on their own deck. It flowed to the edge of the balcony, where it began a slow, ominous drip, 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 right onto the balcony of the cabin, directly below them. As fate would have it, the passenger in that cabin had left their favorite white swimsuit out on a chair to dry. The sangria dripped directly onto it, creating a pattern that looked less like a stain and more like evidence from a grisly crime scene. This, of course, led to a furious knock on the door, a heated argument between neighbors, and a diplomatic crisis that the steward was left to mediate and clean up. But spills are not the only balcony-related catastrophe. One of the most frequent, and frankly most preventable passenger blunders, is the dreaded balcony lockout. It almost always happens in one of 2 classic scenarios. In the first, you step outside to capture that picture-perfect sunset. You're fumbling with your phone, the heavy sliding door swings shut, and you hear that fateful, sickening click of the lock engaging. A wave of cold dread washes over you as you realize you are now stranded. You're out there in your swimsuit or pajamas, with your phone, your keycard, and your dignity, all locked safely inside the room. The second version involves a quick trip down the hall for ice or coffee. You leave your main cabin door ajar, but a gust of wind from the hallway slams it shut, and its lock engages automatically. Now you are a barefoot castaway in the corridor, holding an empty ice bucket, forced to perform the walk of shame to the nearest courtesy phone. And who is the first responder for all of these self-inflicted predicaments? Your cabin steward, they have to halt their entire time-sensitive cleaning rotation, hunt down a phone to call security, and then wait with you for someone to arrive with a master key. A simple 2-second mistake can easily cost them 30 minutes of their incredibly precious and limited time. So many of these major disasters and minor annoyances could be completely avoided with one simple, powerful tool: communication. This brings us to the category of problems that fester in silence. Imagine this: the air conditioner in your room isn't working correctly, and it's slightly too warm. Or maybe the light in your bathroom is flickering like a prelude to a horror movie. Some guests will notice these minor issues on the very first day, and not wanting to be a bother, will decide to just live with it for the entire week. Then, on the final morning of the cruise, as they are dragging their luggage out the door, they'll say to the steward with a casual air, "By the way, the room was an oven all week. You should probably get that AC checked." To be crystal clear, the stewards are not annoyed that something is broken. On a moving city at sea, things break constantly. They are profoundly frustrated that the issue wasn't mentioned on day one. On turnaround day, they are in a frantic race against time to get the room into perfect condition for the next guest, who is boarding in just a few hours. What could have been a simple 5-minute fix for the maintenance team 4 days ago has now metastasized into a full-blown 4-alarm emergency. Now they have to desperately try to get an engineer to fix a complex AC unit in the 20 minutes they have left, all while knowing the next guest will probably blame them for a hot room. Just tell them as soon as you notice something is wrong. They genuinely want to fix it and make your cruise better. This communication breakdown can also manifest in a much stranger, more whimsical way. The towel animal demands. Every cruiser loves that magical moment of walking into their room and discovering a delightful towel monkey hanging from a coat hanger, or a pair of elegant swans sitting on the bed. It's a small touch of wonder that defines the cruise experience, but some guests take this appreciation to an entirely different and frankly demanding level. They begin leaving detailed notes with specific and increasingly complex requests. "Tonight I would like a scorpion," or "My son wants to see a T-Rex, and can you make sure it's roaring?" They start treating their steward not as a hospitality professional, but as a contestant on a high-stakes towel-folding reality competition. What these guests fail to grasp is that the stewards are not professionally trained towel origami artists from the Cirque du Soleil of linens. They are incredibly hard-working people who are usually folding these animals in their own limited personal time. A small window between their grueling shifts. It's a gesture they do from the heart to bring a smile to your face. They genuinely enjoy doing it for guests who appreciate the surprise, but when it becomes a specific daily demand, the joy is sucked out of it, and it transforms from a delightful extra into just another stressful chore on their impossibly long to-do list. After all of the clogged toilets, the hidden stains, the balcony lockouts, and the towel animal ultimatums, you might logically conclude that the worst possible offense is a physical one. You would be wrong. Of all the things that cabin stewards secretly hate, the one that cuts the deepest has nothing to do with messes or mistakes. It's about simple human dignity. It's about being treated like they are not even there. You're walking down the narrow hallway, your head full of vacation plans. Your steward is on their hands and knees, cleaning a spot on the carpet. They look up as you approach, make eye contact, offer a genuine warm smile, and say, "Good morning, have a wonderful day." And you just keep walking. You stare straight ahead, no eye contact, no nod of acknowledgement, no mumbled reply, nothing. To you, in your vacation bubble, it might be a tiny, completely insignificant moment, but to them, it is a moment of casual, soul-crushing invisibility that they can experience dozens, if not hundreds, of times every single day. Think about their reality. They wake up before you do. If you have watched this all the way through, it's almost certain that you are not the kind of passenger who commits these cruise ship sins. But now, you are officially an insider. You have been given the keys to the unwritten rulebook. If this video gave you a new perspective on cruising, do us a huge favor and smash that like button and subscribe for more industry secrets. Have you ever accidentally been guilty of one of these? Or do you have your own unbelievable cruise story to share? Drop it in the comments below.